Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, part of the Furniture with me, Daniel. It's season 16, episode 4, and today we're back for the first time for Premier League action this season. After 2 cup finals and our Champions League debut, we're finally turning our attention to the domestic league. We're doing pretty well so far, although we have started to falter against the bigger teams now, and it's closing up a lot in the top 7 or 8, so we could be drifting down a league if we're not careful. Today's our toughest test and on paper our hardest game. Last season's champions and already runaway leaders City, we go to the City of Manchester Stadium to face Massimiliano Allegri's side. It's going to make things very difficult for us, despite the fact they've got a few injuries, and I think we're going to be very heavy underdogs, although we are doing well in some other competitions. So if we go and have a look at the schedule to see what's been happening since the last episode, a couple of big negatives, but one massive positive to go with it. You were obviously with me just over a month back as we played against Lyon on our Champions League debut. It was an incredible performance and a really professional display, and one of our tightest defensive performances as well. And then after that we won the game you'd expect in the league, despite again not dominating the game. Silla and Keita with early goals before Reading gave us a scare late on. Then in the Carabao Cup our backup team lost to Tottenham, 2 goals in the last half an hour after a pretty decent start. Shane Mason-Smith again impressed in goal, but unfortunately the rest of our performance wasn't great. Then at home to United we lost 1-0, the first Premier League defeat of the season, in what was really our first proper test. A really early goal from Janino, and unfortunately we never came back from it. But then away to Copenhagen in the Champions League, we snuck through with a 2-1 victory. We rested a lot of players in this one though, and conceded an early goal, but then Kozul and Opoku off the bench late on completed the turnaround as we won the game 2-1 and managed to make it 6 points out of 6. Then at home to Arsenal in the Premier League, another fantastic result followed. A 1-0 win at home with Alex Andrade scoring it, as again we look pretty woeful in front of goal. You can see we've really struggled to score goals this season, and bar that early season match against Middlesbrough, we've not scored more than 2 in any game. But we did concede more than 2 away at Liverpool. That was a 3-1 defeat after the internationals. Really not a good performance at all, and it could have been far more if we're being honest. Our home to Schalke in the Champions League, again we rested players with this one in mind. We were dominating the match and unlucky to be level, but then Dimitri Lapin went and got himself sent off. An ugly challenge, and it should have been a big ban. I'm sure it may well get extended yet. And unfortunately after that Schalke were on top, but they weren't able to get the winner, as again we looked solid at the back and managed to hold out for 0-0. So that means if we look at the competition screen, we're on 7 points after 3 games, and it looks like we're in pole position to win the group, and maybe I overestimated our opponents. Schalke looked woeful until we went down to 10, and Lyon didn't really challenge us in the first match. If anything, our toughest game was Copenhagen. We were really lucky to get the 3 points in the end. In the Premier League we're starting to slip, as we had our friendly start, but now we're starting to face the big boys, and of course we've got another one coming up today, and I'm really worried as we're struggling in front of goal, and we've got a few attacking players in the middle of goal droughts. But don't forget our expectations is only to reach the Europa League, so a top 7 finish will do the job for us, and I'm pretty confident we can still manage that. Of course we're not going to defend the Carabao Cup now, but we will be back in the FA Cup after Christmas, and it looks like we'll still be in the Champions League, so we're still going to have plenty to fight for, although I think the Premier League title's still a bit too far away. So we've got a big month or 2 coming up, but this result's going to be absolutely crucial. If we want any chance of being in the title race, we have to get at least a point from today. But very quickly before we get into the match, back to the dynamic screen again. We've got the same 2 players who are unhappy at the moment. Richard Quirk still won't discuss a new deal, and Boubacar Still is still unhappy he didn't leave. But enough about off the pitch matters, let's go and get into the game. We play City in the early kickoff, it's on TV for lunchtime, and I think we're going to get an absolute hammering here, and excuse me for not being too optimistic. An easy win predicted by the media, we're heavy underdogs for the match, and you can't say there's any surprise in that really, as we've certainly struggled to put in 5-star performances, and we've not often managed to get more than 1 goal. But we've got a pretty familiar lineup for this one. Stojanovic of course is in goal. Richard Quirk and Bruno Moraes are the fullbacks, with McDonnell and Hole in the middle. Backenez in the holding role with Keita and Omar in central midfield. Those three have got a fantastic partnership in there. And then Yaladian, who's yet to come to life at the moment, he's on the right with Silla on the left and Alex Andrade up front. Rutherford yet to get off the mark this season, something he's done a couple of times in his career. When he does hit form, he goes absolutely nuts, but for now he's unable to get on the score sheet. Plenty of players who've not yet contributed a goal, and we really need to start finding our attacking impetus soon, otherwise we could start drifting down the league table. But let's go and get into this game against City. We've still got game changers like Rutherford, Kozul and Sousa on the bench. Dimitri Lapin's not the happiest at the moment. I'm not quite sure of the reason for that. But against Manchester City today, I think we've got to be more worried about defence. It's a 4-2-3-1 for City. Mane in the number 10 role. Of course, we've played against City once already this year. That was in the Community Shield. They've got the experience de Ligt at centre half. Obviously a real life player. Then Rhodes a big summer signing at right back. Duday a player we tried to sign in the past. He's in the holding midfield role. And then Finetti up front, a player that's done well for them since joining for big money in the summer. He was over £60 million. In fact, I think he was even more than that. So he's going to be a tough test for us today, as they've got some superstars on the bench too. Selper's a left back we've tried to sign before. Williams coming towards the end of his career, but been an elite striker for a decade. And then Lettieri scored the equaliser in that Community Shield match. He again looked a threat in front of goal. But let's go and talk to the boys to see what they're able to do in this one. We're going to tell them to go out and prove a point. And then we're also going to go to the tactics screen just to drop to a balanced mentality. So let's get to the kickoff and see who's got it. It's Andrade who finds Backenez. Out to Moraes, the left back in the rain. Inside to Omar in the centre circle. Out to Yaladian, the new man on the right. He's been fouled by Herkes. We're going to have a free kick very early on, and maybe we can take a shock lead here. It's Omar with a delivery into Montero. He hacks it away in front of Hull, and it falls for Quirk on halfway. He finds Moraes who goes forward. In towards the centre forward Andrade, but the keeper picks it up quite easily. He clears it long downfield, all the way to Hull the centre half. Backenez down to Keita and Yaladian. He charges down the right hand side. De Ligt clears it away to halfway. Hull heads it down for Silla. He tries to get in inside to Keita. We look pretty competent early on, and we are having a bit of the possession. Yaladian's on the byline on the right, into Andrade who scores. What a start to the game that is. A minute and a half and we lead at City, and Yaladian the new man's finally showed some promise. The first brilliant thing he's done all season, a great byline cross from the right and headed in by Andrade. It's City on the right with Montero. We're back on the edge of the box. What a shot which Stojanovic saves, and he's tipped behind for a corner as Bentley can't quite reach the rebound. Montero's going to take the in-swinging delivery. In towards Farnetti, the big signing. He's lost out in the air and he's recovered the ball on the right and goes inside to the world-class Mane. Duday wins a challenge, although the pass was slightly short, and he finds Mane again. Duday in the middle out to the right hand side. Rhodes is the overlapping fullback there. His cross is deflected off Moraes and it's going to be yet another City corner. This time it'll be an outswinger. Montero again the taker. Farnetti completely unmarked at the front post. The big money striker with no one in sight, and thankfully he heads it wide at the near post. We got away with one there. 20 minutes gone and we still lead 1-0, but City coming back into the game. It's a free kick for Andrade with a quarter gone. Into McDonnell at the back post. Does brilliantly to get up and beat his man, but it hits the bar on the way over, and it remains 1-0, but we are creating chances. This has been our best performance in a while. It's a free kick for Andrade again. He's curled it in the top corner. Maybe the keeper should have done better. It looked like he got a hand to it. The commentary says it all really. City are all over the place. We've never seen them look this vulnerable at the back. It's always been a tense game if we have beaten them, apart from the first season in the Premier League. But we've now given away a goal at the other end. Bentley at the back post unmarked. The unhappy Richard Quirk switches off yet again, and this is why he's been in and out of the team. Jones at the back post with a free header again. Yaladian clears it off the line. It's Montero with a corner into the front post. Hull heads it away as far as Montero again. Jones gets it wide to the corner taker, and they keep it on the edge of the box. It's Mane in the middle to Castano. Out to Duday on the right unmarked. He delivers but it's blocked by the defender. defender, out for another corner to City. It's so disappointing the way we conceded, especially as it was just after we doubled our lead, and Castano again with a free header from a set piece, but this time he puts it wide at the near post. A couple of minutes to the break, Andrade shoots from a free kick again. This one's just wide and it's a City goal kick. It looks like we're going to cling on to half time. It's a corner for City, just 1 minute of stoppage time to go. Farnetti loses out in the air. Mane recycles it as Jones loses the second ball and he gets it into the back post to Montero. His shot's blocked by Hole and it's deflected out for a throw. City look like they're going to trail at half time. We still lead 2-1. The whistle goes, it's an Andrade double and he's finally starting to look a goal threat again as we tell the lads we're pleased with their performance. We are going to make one change in the second half, drop our fullbacks to support duties. It's the one place we've been a little overrun by the outfield runners. The midfielders cutting inside for City and it seems like we've not tracked them brilliantly. It's Jones at centre half for Duday. The highlight ends as City just keep possession in the middle and it looks like we are going to continue to hold the lead despite City starting to press now. It's Mane on the left from the throw-in. Brilliant attacking football from City here, charging men into the box. They've got 7 or 8 up, making it really difficult, but McDonald stands tall in the box. It's Duday to Mane again. He's got it 30 yards out to Castano, tries to get it wide but Silla intercepts and clears it away long downfield. It doesn't look like we're trying to keep the ball too much now, but we are still in the game and keeping our lead. Again we see an Andrade free kick at the other end, but this one's hopelessly high and wide. An hour gone and we'll think about subs in a moment, but while we're still leading it's going to be hard to make changes. It's a free kick for City on the edge of the box. Mane with an effort. It was the perfect angle for a right footer, but it's gone wide at the near post again as we get away with yet another chance conceded. City on top but not hitting the target, and as long as that happens we'll maintain our lead. A quarter of the game to go and it's a City goal kick, long downfield towards Farnetti. McDonald wins the header and it's fallen for Duday. He gets it wide to the left back Herkes. So the byline unopposed and delivers. McDonald and Omar combine to clear it. Andrade holds the ball up on halfway and he gets it inside to Keita. Beats one man with his strength and finds Yaladian. He's got 2 in the middle. One's Andrade, it hits the front post, comes out and hits the keeper and it deflects behind for a corner kick. That one could have gone anywhere. An awful short corner from Omar and the highlight ends with 20 minutes remaining as we make our first substitution. Boubacar Silla replaced by Kozul. He's unhappy and it's affecting his form, so let's bring on the club captain. It's a corner for City again. Montero with an outswinger. Jones wins the header. It's over the bar and we've got a warning for Omar. He's got a yellow card, so with 15 minutes left, we're going to replace him with Dimitri Lapin. He'll switch into the Mazzala role and Keita will become an advanced playmaker. 15 left and we've got one more sub in the tank and it may well be Richard Quirk at this rate. 4 minutes to go and I think it's time for it now. He's on a 6.5 Quirk and he was at fault for the goal. So on comes Talasise at right back, better in the more defensive duties too. And considering we've dropped both fullbacks to support, that will suit Cisse down to the ground. We're into 4 minutes of stoppage time. We've played one of it as I was about to pause to change tactic there. But we'll go and see the ball out for a throw in first and then we'll go and start time wasting. Drop our tempo too. There's no need for us to be in a rush. We'll slow the pace down and hold our shape, and we're certainly not stopping the keeper having the ball. They can keep it at the back as long as they want. We want to force them to go long, as that's where we feel we can win possession. The line of engagement drops for the strikers. We want to make our team a little more compact. It's a free kick on halfway for Hull. He finds Lapin and now Baccanes. Keita holds it up for Baccanes again and he goes back to McDonald. Out to Kozul, the substitute on the left. Andrade's got it now. He's knackered up front. He's had a brilliant game and scored the 2 goals and that could win us the game in a moment. Kozul's won a cheap free kick with a brilliant bit of pressing and we're now going to drop Keita's duty as well. Just one player left on an attacking duty and that's the lone centre forward Andrade. He's got a free kick here 25 yards out. Can he complete his hat-trick in style? Surely he can't score 2 free kicks in a game as Andrade wastes as much time as possible. He deflects off the wall but straight back to him and he switches it to Kozul on the right side of the box. His cross is blocked and back out to him. Falls luckily and Lapin flicks on his cross but it's just glanced wide at the far post and it looks like time may nearly be up. Are City going to get one more chance? Is Olivetto the keeper with a long ball forward? Moraes beats Montero brilliantly in the air. Kozul comes forward and the whistle goes. We're We're back in the title race, everyone. A fantastic display away at Manchester City, and what a shame we couldn't produce that in the other two games where we threw away 6 points needlessly. But a wonderful performance. I really thought we were going to get beaten today, and I almost didn't show you the game. I thought we'd come back for a winnable one later on, but these lads have proven me wrong so many times, and Alex Andrade the superstar again. Torquay, Hull and McDonald were man mountains in the middle, and it's good to see your laddie Am finally come good. A brilliant assist early on in the game, and he was a constant nuisance throughout. So a fantastic result and performance, and we competed for City in terms of chances too. Not too bad on the possession front either. We really have shined in that game. Of course, the disappointment was the goal we conceded, and the fact that the two unhappy players were still the worst performers. Maybe we just take them out of the lineup now and bring them back in when they grow up a little. It seems that they're costing their own careers here, as teams don't even want to buy them now. Silla was unhappy that he couldn't move to City, but they're certainly not going to want him based on that performance. We've got a press conference which we'll deal with off camera, but Andrade's going to get some big praise. Superb in front of goal, a wonderful poacher's finish at the front post early on, and then a fantastic free kick as well. Held the ball up well, he was brilliant linking the play, everything you wanted from your number 9. We couldn't have asked for much more from him, and that result means we're just 1 point off the top of the league. With 11 games played, we've closed the gap on City, and it's starting to look like a title race again. If a couple of the other big boys win, that gap could be down of course again, but we really want to be part of a breakaway pack that makes up the top 4 and guarantees Champions League football, so we don't have to worry about that moving forward. We don't want to get into a tense decider late in the season. We need to cement ourselves as a Champions League club, and that means we can continue to increase the wage bill, knowing the Champions League money will fund it. But the start in the Champions League group stages has been good, and of course every result we get in that competition means we get extra income as well. But aside from the odd disappointing Premier League result, most of which have been after either international breaks or European hangovers, we are doing pretty well generally. Being out of the Carabao Cup may be a blessing in disguise this year, although it was only ever going to feature our backup team anyway. The likes of Stuart John are still developing well, the under-18's coming along nicely, you can see that his attributes are going up very quickly, and he's just come back from a little short-term injury. The other interesting one in the under-18s, Darren Baker, who played that game last season, the one we had against Arsenal where we had 9 players out on international duty, or I think it might have been Arsenal with 9 and us with 12. Darren Baker came in and played in that victory. He was sensational and he now looks a decent prospect. Stuart John was of course the hero in that game, but Darren Baker was an understated success. He was a really good performer, and although we're not winning games by comfortable margins, we are starting to get results now and continuing to develop good youth talent. But if we go and have a look at the schedule, that's the bit you're all worried about, of course. We've got one of 2 games in mind to come back for next. One is quite soon against Lyon in the Champions League. That could be a decider between the top 3. Is that going to be the one that guarantees us Champions League football, or is it going to relegate us to the Europa League? If that game's not a decider and we're looking pretty comfortable, as I don't expect us to get a result at Schalke, but I've been proven wrong a couple of times before, then we will leave it a little while longer and come back for another Premier League game a bit later on to see how the title race is shaping up. You can see it was still very tight at the top. Even with the games in hand, there's still only 7 points in it, and that's between the top 7 or 8 in the league, so it's going to be another fascinating season. The Premier League is basically split into 2 leagues. The top 8 are one and the rest are another, and we've got to make sure we're in the top end of the top group. But if you did enjoy this episode and that fantastic performance against the champions, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know if you think that's going to be a big moment for your laddie Ann. I certainly think he's going to succeed from here. We've been waiting 10 games for that performance, and he's finally produced it in the biggest game of all. Andrade continues to improve. I will show you his profile while we go through the outro, just so you can see that he does look a top class striker now, and he's still got the potential to improve yet further. Playing for Brazil going to help him with that as we try to continue his development. Let me know if you think there's anywhere we need to strengthen in January. We've still got plenty of transfer budget available. The wage budget's over because we've just signed some new contracts, the ones which we discussed in the last episode. But we will be making a couple of sales in January, and of course we will be able to allocate some funds. But let me know where you think we need to strengthen. It may well be right back and left midfield if the two unhappy players force their way out. But subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from this Torquay United story. It looks like it's going to be an enthralling season again, as we're going to be close in a title race, it seems. Due to the schedule changes on the channel, of course you're seeing an episode on Wednesday for the first time from this series. It will run every Sunday to Thursday at 4:30, 5 consecutive days every week. Then there's our Snooker 19 career every Friday at the same time. We're coming up to the season-ending World Championships in that one. That'll actually be the last event from the series, so I hope you come along and check it out and enjoy our attempts at success in our final event of our career. There's also 3 episodes a week from my Cricket 19 career. That's every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday at midday. A massive thank you to everyone that's followed that series, as well as the Ashes Test playthrough we did beforehand. I really can't thank you enough for giving it a try, but a massive thanks for watching this one and your continued support with this series as always. I'm still really enjoying it and I hope you are too. And fingers crossed I'll see you next time for another big game as we try to secure Champions League progress as well as staying in the Premier League title race. Can we win the big 2 remaining trophies, and can we do it in one of them this season?